Yo, what's up, everybody? Jumpin' here, and I am back on some Ghost of Tsushima Legends. And if you don't know, they actually did come out with the director's cut for the PS5, and with that, they actually came out with an update for the Legends mode. Now, if you don't have a PS5 or if you don't have the director's cut, you can still get all of the Legends mode content for free. So I would definitely recommend checking it out because I am really enjoying what they've done with the Legends mode, because the Legends mode was always like just really awesome and it was free, so it was like, wow, this is great. And now with this new content, some of the new build stuff that you can do is just incredible. Now this is my overpowered samurai, and let me tell you, man, this samurai is so strong. And I do think that the samurai is probably the strongest out of all of them just because of all of the content. If you actually just factor in every bit of content that you could possibly do, I think the samurai is really, really strong. Now, the hunter is also extremely strong, and the Ronin now is crazy, especially for like normal survival. The build you can do on there is insane. But just overall, I do think that the samurai is the best class in the entire game right now. Now, this build, I am using one of the new legendaries that they came out with, and I love it. Now, they did actually change an old legendary, and I have seen a lot of people using that build. I know people like it for the samurai. I'm not a huge fan of it just because it requires like more like work, in my opinion, where this is just simple. Like all I have to do is just be a tank and use my abilities, and man, it is crazy. So one of the new things that they've added is this new class ability, which is like a fire blade. This fire blade is so insane. I mean, it just does crazy damage, and on top of it, with blessed strikes, you can heal yourself. And what I really love about this build is that as I'm attacking, I'm building up my resolve to do my ultimate. And while I'm getting hit, I'm actually building up my resolve to do my ultimate. Plus, with the new legendary I'm using, I can easily get my ultimate as well. So there's a lot of ways of getting my ultimate, and I can spam it like crazy. And the Samurai's ultimate is definitely one of the best in the whole game just because it's just so powerful. It can do insane damage at times. So I'm going to break everything down for you and tell you everything you need to know. Let me know if you want to see any of the other new builds because they're all very good. The Assassin, in my opinion, is probably the worst new build, although there's a couple different things you can do with that, and it is really fun to play. But I think that the Hunter is insane, the Samurai is just amazing, and the Ronin is really crazy, like what you can do, especially in just normal survival mode. It is outrageous. Alrighty guys, well, that's going to pretty much do it for the gameplay. Now I'm going to break down the build for you and tell you everything that you're going to want to know. Alrighty, now before I actually talk about the build, one thing I forgot to mention in the gameplay was I was actually playing the Nightmare Survival, and I was soloing the very beginning of it just to really show off, like, against really strong enemies what this build can do. Now, another thing I need to mention is that the modifier was reduced healing, which will half my healing. So normally, my healing from my blessed strikes and the fire blade is much better. I will put a link in the description if you want to watch my preview to this build, because that was from last week with the slow revive modifier, and you can see the healing a lot better there. Because it is an important part of this build, because what we're going to be doing is, besides us using our legendary to get the resolve to spam our ultimate, we're also like building up our resolve by attacking the enemies and being attacked as well. So being able to heal through attacks is extremely important. Now let's actually talk about the technique first. So the new technique that they added that is just amazing is Raging Flame. This basically will allow your blade to be on fire. It has a good duration to it, which is awesome. But then the other thing about it is that whenever you do heavy attacks, you will light other enemies near you on fire as well. So this is extremely good, especially with Water Sword. Water Sword is amazing, and combine that with this, you're talking about lighting everything around you on fire. It is super, super good. Now, what I decided to do was to go for a second legendary on the top slot, because it used to be like, yeah, melee damage was the way to go. But now, because of like just how crazy the new legendary is, you definitely want to have a second legendary. Also, increase your resolve by 1. This just helps so that you can have it build up faster because you're storing 1 generally. And finally, you always want to go for this, where it has 2 extra hits, your ultimate. and you can easily get 5 kills. And if you're dealing with stronger enemies, you can take them out with the ultimate, no problem. Now let's talk about the gear. I'm going to start actually with the new legendary. This is the Bottle of Liquid Courage. Now this is a healing gourd, and what it does is that whenever you use it, you heal for less, but you will refill 1 to 3 resolve. Now you do not need to be injured to use this either, so like the moment a match starts, you can pop it right away. And if you actually have like lucky on it, which is really what you want to go for, you can potentially have it not go away, and then you can do it again and instantly get a full ultimate going. And a lot of times when I use this, I will get close to 3 bars of my ultimate. It is awesome. Now what's really important on this is to get cooldown on kill, you want that. And for the samurai, you definitely want injured resolve gain. Because as we're hitting the enemies and we are getting attacked, you're going to be getting your ultimate back. Now this is extremely good as well if you are dealing with like certain enemies, like let's say a fat Oni and he does his little spin attack. Man, that attack is awesome because when I'm getting hit by that, I'm just eating it. I don't care. This is really a 0 fucks given build. And as I'm getting hit and I'm hitting him, I'm going to build up my ultimate extremely quickly. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this first is because of the other thing you could do. I mean, you should always use the Massive Moon's Edge as your legendary. This is like a must. The reason for this is because it can double your ultimate damage. I'll explain this more later, but just know that you should always use this. So what you could technically do is you could not use the healing gourd and instead just use like a normal one. And yeah, you want to have injured resolve gain, you want cooldown on kill, and you would probably want sudden resolve. So you use it, you get the first resolve for free. That's really nice. And then what a lot of people are doing is they're using bomb packs. Now, there's a legendary bomb pack. I actually dismantled it because I really did not like it for this setup. The reason why is because I already have to pick up ammo for my other classes all the time. When I'm playing Ronin, I always got to get ammo. When I'm playing Hunter, I'm always picking up ammo. And even with the Assassin, if you're doing like an ultimate build on the Assassin, I'm always picking up ammo. And I just find that super annoying. And I just don't want to do it. So to me, this is much better because I don't have to worry about picking up ammo at all. And when it comes to the bow in general, who gives a crap? Now, this is a decent roll on this bow, but I never use it. I only ever actually use it when I'm helping people get a challenge done, like range kills or headshots. That's the only time I ever bust it out. Now let's talk about the Massive Moon's Edge. This is an amazing sword because it has a 20% chance to double your damage. Now, as long as you're hitting the enemy with the sword, that can proc the perk. That means that the ultimate hits from the samurai, all of them has that 20% chance of proccing. And you will notice it a lot when you are one-shotting Onis. You're like, whoa, that's because this is probably proccing. Now, like I said, this is an amazing weapon. Now, this is something you could put on the assassin as well. But the thing about the assassin is that the assassin will hit with the sword, hit with a dagger, hit with the sword, hit with a dagger, hit with the sword. So you're not always hitting with the sword. So only when you hit with the sword can this proc. So this is definitely what you want on the samurai. The assassin, that's kind of like debatable potentially. What you want on this for sure is you want melee damage, you want ultimate damage, you want water stance, and then the other perk, at first I wanted to get Way of the Flame, because I thought, okay, I pop my Fire Blade, I go to town. When it's on cooldown, I can pop Way of the Flame and then go to town. Honestly, I'm cool with Burning Blade. I think Burning Blade is fine. Like, if you got Way of the Flame, you could use that too, but I'm really liking Burning Blade. Now, one of the most important things you gotta get is the Samurai's Charm, and this is the hardest thing to get. I'm gonna be honest. You want to get a roll that's gonna come with ultimate damage and melee damage. Now, a must is Blessed Strikes. You gotta get this. Now, you could technically go ahead and get something else, like another decent perk, and then once you get this to 120, you can add the second perk on there. Now that would be easier because if you don't know what you can do, which I just found this out today and I feel like an idiot, but what you can do is you can actually upload your save and then you can try to like roll for it, and if you don't get it, you can just go and download your save and then save scum. And that would be an easy way of actually getting Blessed Strikes, just doing that over and over again. So if you can get a really good roll where maybe you get like a high percentage of melee damage and maybe you get something like super armor, and then you can go ahead and just try to keep re-rolling for a really high percentage of ultimate damage, Then whenever you get this to 120 and you have the Purified Curse, you can go ahead and add Blessed Strikes onto it later. But Blessed Strikes is a must, because the general strategy with this build is that we're going to pop this, so we will pop our Healing Gourd, get potentially our ultimate right away. If not, we just need to throw our Kunai or attack a little bit to get the ultimate. Then we can pop the ultimate, and then we can actually use our Fire Blade, our class ability, get into the middle of all the enemies, go to town, light them all on fire, destroy them, build up our resolve that way, and as they're hitting us, we're going to go ahead and get our ultimate back. We can use it, and then guess what? By the time that's all over, you could probably use this again. So now you got our ultimate again. It is really crazy on how this build works. You can spam that ultimate all the time. Now when it comes to the secondary perk, you actually have a lot of options here. Rising Tempo can be pretty good. Every time you get a kill, it will increase your damage. Now, that is as long as you're not getting hit. Now, this build is really all about getting hit, so this isn't the best thing. But this is good for your ultimate, because when you're getting 4 kills right away, or 5 kills right away, you're going to get a nice increase to your damage. I've been able to one-shot archers with this before. I've done my ultimate, and then I will do my running attack, for example. And with this Masamune's Edge, if this procs, I can just one-shot archers and stuff. So Rising Tempo is definitely not bad, but I would say Fire Master would be also very good. Health increase can be good, but the other one, which I'm using and I kind of recommend, is Super Armor. Super Armor is incredible because you won't stagger, you won't stun. So you can attack through all of the enemies hitting you, and it's just going to build your resolve really quickly because of the injured resolve gain. Plus, as we're hitting the enemies, especially when we have our class ability going, we are building up our resolve incredibly fast. And then finally, the Kunai. You want a Kunai, you want one with a high percentage of melee damage if possible, and you want a cooldown on kill. That way you can go ahead and get this back pretty much right away. This is a great option for stunning enemies or getting enemies from a distance. You definitely want to get super massive on this, and then you want to try to get hidden blades as your secondary. Now in my preview video, I was using a different one. I was using this one, which has fired up and super massive. I decided to go ahead and try to roll for another one, and I got really lucky with this one because it came with maximum melee damage. I was able to roll on almost maximum cooldown on kill, and it already had super massive on it, so I knew that this was going to be much better. So that's basically it. That's the build. It is incredibly powerful. It's super tanky. You're able to just sit in the middle of all the enemies and go to town because of Blessed Strikes and that new class ability with the Fire Blade. It is ridiculous. When this procs, by the way, you just do insane damage with your ultimate, and being able to spam it is just awesome. I really love this new legendary. This is amazing. By the way, this is really good on the Hunter as well. This is what I love on the Hunter. So if you want to see that build, let me know. And I know a lot of people like those bombs, but like I said, to me, I just don't like it because I have to run around. I have to grab bombs and ammo all the time. Not a big fan of it. I much prefer this where I could just use this. I can get my ultimate and then go to town. And by the time that I'm done using my class ability, generally this will be back and I can use it again and get my ultimate again. So yeah, it's really good. Alrighty guys, so that's going to pretty much do it for this video. I really hope that you have enjoyed it and this has helped. If it has, will you please like the video for me? Be sure to subscribe for future content. And if you do subscribe, make sure to click the bell. That way you can stay notified. Thank you so much for watching, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.